Hi, and welcome to another episode of Furuno Connections. I'm Clayton Pattison with Furuno Technical Support.
And I'm Eric Kuhn, Senior Product Manager.
Now, if you guys remember last time, we gave you a decent overview of the boat that we're working on, which is a 2010 39-foot SeaVee, and the owners of the boat, Team Fortunate and Matt Rowland. We also gave you a decent run-through of the electronics that's on the boat, the Navnet 3D package that was installed in 2010. Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to go through all of the equipment that we're going to put on the boat to retrofit this thing. So, Eric, why don't you give us a run-through of the equipment we're going to put on this boat?
We're going to start with the MFDs.
Okay.
What we're looking at is some Navnet 3D MFD12s.
Okay.
And they were a traditional 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
You know, which gave you a pretty good image at the time in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But the nice thing about it is we're going to change these out with some 15.6-inch TZ Touch 2 MFDs. And that equates to about 30% more display area for only a slightly bigger hole, as you know.
Yeah, that's quite a big gain actually for screen size.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll actually start from here and we'll take out about a 0.5 to a 0.7 inch gap, wrote it right over here on the outside, cut that out on each one, and then that TZ Touch 2 15.6 inch will drop right in.
So what else do we have in the dash we're going to replace on this one?
Yeah, so the next thing we're going to actually look at is the VHF radio. This is an existing VHF from the time.
Okay.
It's not a bad radio. It's got a lot of functions and features, but what we're going to do is we're going to put the FM 4800 in it. That's our new, right?
Yeah.
That's our new AIS receiver. It's like a Swiss Army knife of
it does just about everything except wash your car.
It's got the hailer.
Yeah.
It's got the PA system. It's got of course the AIS receiver, which is really cool. Built-in GPS. Basically everything you need on this boat to be able to go as a multifunction VHF AIS system. The next step is actually we're going to change out the existing Clarion radio, or the radio that's in there right now.
Got to have your tunes, right?
And we're going to drop a new Fusion box in.
Ooh.
Really cool.
Okay, what model are we going to put on?
It's the 770, the new
Apollo the new Apollo series?
Yep, the Apollo 770.
Excellent.
And the nice thing with that, with TZ Touch 2, we'll be able to control the Fusion directly from the MFD.
That's right, because they have full Ethernet compatibility with TC Touch. Yeah. Excellent.
So that covers our display area.
Okay.
We're going to see how dramatic and amazing that looks in a little bit. And then when we drop down to this lower level, we're actually going to take this Clarion remote out right here, which we've already kind of removed a little bit. So this will probably get replaced with either an FI70, which we can make the hole a little bit bigger. You have a data repeater here, which is really nice for temperature.
Yeah, one of the
depth.
little... so it's essentially a little small screen that's just a data repeater, so it'll give you your depth and position and
whatever we need,
else.
or whatever the captain or maybe a passenger wants to monitor something while we're moving along. Could even be engine RPMs or whatever we want to put there, basically.
Yeah.
And then also there's an existing autopilot control head that we're going to pop in a NavPilot 300 system, and that'll give this basically swap right out with this one DIN size control head.
Well, should we go take a look at the hardtop?
Yeah, let's go take a look.
Okay.
All right,
so up on the hardtop, we've got an original DRS-6A with a 4-foot radiator. Now, the nice thing is that the new NXT gearboxes share the exact same bolt pattern with these old gearboxes. So replacing it is just going to be a direct swap out. We'll take the old one off, put the new one on. Now, are we going to retain the same 4-foot array, or are we going to go with the bigger 6-foot array?
Yeah, the 6 would be nice, Clayton, but the problem is we run into the rod holders right here, so the rod tips are going to be sticking up. That happens with a lot of center consoles. In fact, in some cases, with a Tortugas top or a narrow center top, you may have to go down to the 3.5-foot array that we offer.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, longer is better. You squeeze the energy into a tighter space, you get better horizontal resolution, but in some cases, it's just not physically possible.
Yeah, that plays into bird mode a lot, too, doesn't
Exactly. It? Over here next to me, I have the Sirius antenna, and that was for the original BBWX1. That's getting replaced with a BBWX4. The system's the same. This antenna looks great. It's basically almost the same antenna that's available today.
Okay.
We don't even have to change it.
Perfect.
It worked fine.
One less thing we have to worry
we'll keep
about.
the other one. Just throw the other one in the spare box in case we ever need it. But in case you do need it, it changes down in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Over near you is the GPS
right
antenna, which is the GP320 that was installed. That was an 0183 design. We're going to replace that with the GP330B, which is an Enemy A2000 design.
To tie into our full backbone.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect.
So that handles the hardtop. We're done up here.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the center console and take a look at some black boxes.
Okay. Much of the time, even on a big boat like this, 39 feet, there's still not a whole lot of room to run cables and install electronics. So all of that stuff is going to go in the compartment behind me. What are we going to put in this boat, Eric?
All right, so with these NavNet components, there's a lot of black box components. NavNet network starting with our NavNet 1 system when we started with Ethernet. And the nice thing about the black box system is that, for example, this is a DFF1, which was available at the time of the MFD12s, which is NavNet 3D. You had to get an external sounder box.
Yeah,
and the DFF1 was nice, but you're right. What we did with TZ Touch 2, for example, is we built this sounder right into the MFD.
Okay. So this is essentially a fish finder with no screen and no keyboard.
That's right.
That would tie into the Ethernet network, and it would use the display as the interface, correct?
Exactly.
So are they not going to use the internal sounder?
So that's
on this?
right, because we're putting in a DFF3, which is a 3 kilowatt unit. We just can't fit the 3 kilowatt electronics. It's too much power to stuff inside the MFD itself.
And that depends on what they're doing.
That's right, because we're going to do some deep dropping. We're looking deep with this boat because we're going offshore, especially in the Pacific side. We need some really deep water performance. That's why this new transducer is going to have two 2 kilowatt elements, and we're going to drive those with the DFF3 black box sounder.
That's a lot of power.
It is a lot of power, but we need it, and we're going to use it. In addition to that DFF3, we're also going with the DFF3D black box sounder as well, or black box
so we're going to put
sonar.
2 sounders on this.
That's correct. There's not really a sounder. The DFF3D is a multi-beam sonar, and that sweeps back and forth horizontally to give us that painted map generating bottom.
Are we going to have any frequency interference between the two?
Good question. No, because we're designing the system to use the 165 kilohertz as the high frequency with the DFF3D.
Okay, perfect.
And then the DFF3 is going to use both an 85 and a multi-frequency lowered. So we're going to have a mid-beam transducer and a low-beam transducer, depending on the frequency. And the nice thing about the DFF3 is that it is frequency agile. So we can change the frequency. So as long as we have the right chirp echo sounder transducers, we can match the frequency for the species that we're going for.
So really, you can almost use them in tandem.
Yes, there's no frequency interference. We'll make sure that we don't match any harmonics, and with the 165 being way out of the way, it's not a problem.
All right, so besides all the sounders and such that we're going to put down here, what else are we going to install on this boat?
Well, there's an existing BBWX1 Sirius satellite weather receiver.
Okay.
We're going to replace that with the BBWX4.
Okay.
It's smaller, a little, it can fit in a couple different places. It'll save me some room. And then in addition, we're going to change out the existing autopilot with the NavPilot 300 processor unit. And that's a Bluetooth processor unit, which is really nice because that'll work with our gesture remote control, and that has easy access from under here, no problem. And then in addition to that, we're going to take the existing autopilot pump, which is rusty and nasty, and we're going to put in a new stainless bracket aluminum pump and streamline the plumbing quite a bit.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So obviously there's going to be a lot of work that has to go on over the next couple of weeks to do all this. And I think our next episode is we're going to show you how we're going to install the MFDs, the new TZ Touch 2 MFDs, in the helm and fit in the radio and a couple other things. But before that, we've got quite a bit of wiring work and other things we have to do to get to that point. So looks like you better get to work, right?
We all better. Hey, you said you would help me.
So thanks for watching. And if you like the exciting content that you've seen, click the link below to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you'll be the first one to know when we have new content available with new product information and new exciting stuff from Furuno.